Lesson number 7, Ken Smith, Dealing with Daughters the Toastmaster Way. Dealing with Daughters the Toastmaster Way, Kevin Smith.
Like most teenage boys, I used to dream of being surrounded by beautiful women. Be careful what you wish for. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and honored guest, when my wife and I married, we formed a blended family. I came with twin daughters. She came with twin daughters a few years older than mine, and a singleton daughter a few years younger than mine. I have to tell you, this was nothing like my teenage fantasies. I guess I really should have learned to be more specific. But there I was, thrust into the middle of the estrogen ocean, adrift. No land in sight. Just me in my little boat, trying my best to navigate that sea. Now I was pretty proud of how quickly I developed my sea legs and learned how to keep things running on an even keel. However, nothing could prepare me for the perfect storm that was brewing. It finally hit the year that I had 2 17-year-old daughters, 2 15-year-old daughters, a 13-year-old daughter, and a wife that had just started menopause. All I could do was lash myself to the mast and pray for deliverance as I was tossed about on that stormy sea. Somehow, I made it through to safe harbor. Bruised and battered, but mostly intact. The girls, they're all older now, and for the most part have moved out and on with their lives. Everybody survived. Nobody ended up on drugs or with an arrest record, so I call that a parenting win. You may be asking yourself now, though, what does this have to do with Toastmasters? Well, I joined Toastmasters just a few short months ago. I've been going to all the meetings, have been given a few speeches, and have volunteered for many of the roles. As I was doing this, it began to occur to me that my experience with all those females could have been a whole lot easier if I would have been able to take it from a Toastmaster's perspective. I know this may seem far-fetched, but bear with me. Have you ever tried to get 5 teenage girls ready to leave at a specific time? Everybody has to take at least a half-hour bubble bath. They have to do their makeup, they have to curl their hair, unless they have naturally curly hair, in which case they have to straighten it. They have to try on at least 3 different outfits, each requiring changes to their makeup. Echoing through the house are the refrains, "Mom, she's hogging the bathroom. Mom, she's wearing my sweater. She's going to stretch it all out of shape." My job was to keep them focused, on track, and ensure that we could leave on time. This sounds remarkably like the Toastmasters role now, doesn't it? Minus the tears and temper tantrums, of course. I learned another skill in Toastmasters that I really wish I could have employed back then. You see, my daughters talk a lot, and at warp speed. Like a trumpet player who has mastered the art of circular breathing, they can take a deep breath and launch into a fast-paced staccato that can last for hours without ever having to come up to breathe. When I first tried the timer's roll, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. If I had one of those nifty timer devices back then, I could just simply turn the light to red, and they'd actually have to stop talking. No more 2-hour monologues on the nuances of Harry Potter versus Twilight. If I had that kind of control back then, I guarantee you I'd still have hair today. The more I learned about Toastmasters, the more I realized what a boon it could be. Grammarian. What parent wouldn't love to remove yeah, like it, you know, from their child's vocabulary? My girls had a particularly annoying habit, which I termed verbal charades. Allow me to illustrate. Where you and I might say, She was upset, but I didn't let it bother me. They instead would say, "Oh my gosh," she was all like, "Ugh," and I was all like, "What dude?" Table topics. This skill is critical for dealing with all the weird and off-the-wall questions you get. Everything from the merely absurd, like, if Harry Potter and Ellen Cuddle from Twilight got in a fight, who do you think would win? To the downright dangerous, like the one from my wife. Do these streaks of gray in my hair make me look old? The skill that one learns in table topics of being able to redirect a question could have saved me from many a night in the doghouse. I have learned something from every role I have tried thus far. If only I'd found Toastmasters sooner, my trip through the estrogen ocean could have been smooth sailing. Just think of the level of Jedi mastery I may be able to obtain if I decide to kick it up a notch and run for Toastmaster office. Before I embark on that journey, though, I think I'd better invest in a much bigger boat. Mr. Toastmaster?